Our featured guest tonight lived through a time when Hollywood truly felt like a dream factory, when Technicolor musicals filled the screen with song, dance, and starlight. He began his career dancing alongside icons like Marilyn Monroe and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and Rosemary Clooney in White Christmas, before stepping into the spotlight himself in 1961, when he gave the world one of its most unforgettable performances as Bernardo in West Side Story. A role that earned him both an Academy Award and Golden Globe and forever etched his name in Hollywood history. His artistry didn't stop there. He went on to captivate audiences on stage, on television, and even in the world of design. He's one of the last living links to that era of elegance and cinematic magic, and it is my pleasure to welcome to the weekly show the one and only George Chakiris. George, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here with you. Thank you. Thank you.
So you've lived one of those lives that movies can be made about. I mean, my understanding is you were born in Springfield, Ohio, to Greek immigrant parents from Turkey. How early in life were you conscious of the fact that your family was perhaps a little different from some of the folks around you?
Well, of course, I never thought of that. As a kid, I knew my parents from we called the old country, from Turkey, from a Greek village in Turkey, because my parents, in fact, are Greek, not Turkish. Listen, they were my parents. That's all I knew. I needed to think of, as a kid, I never thought of anything other than that, of course,
So what kind of movies or music or musicals were your family watching or listening to growing up? And did that have any influence in any direction you would take later in life?
Listen, when I was growing up, of course, there was no television, so we didn't see anything on television. I heard things on the radio. And of course, I went to the movies. I think I didn't start going to movies till I was maybe 6 or 7 or something like that. But it sure got my imagination and my mind working. But I didn't know what anything was, of course. But I loved movies, all movies, not just musicals, but I guess especially musicals. And of course, it was just a dreamy experience to go to a movie and see all those beautiful people doing all those great things, Yeah, it was thrilling.
There are quite a few moments in your life story when it seems like one slightly different step or move might have very well led to a completely different life for you. One of those is your parents moved to LA from Ohio, and the second is your inclusion as background in, I think, Katharine Hepburn film Song of Love. To the first question, what brought about the move to LA?
I was, as you just said, I was born in Ohio. We were living in Ohio. I remember the winters were really cold. I loved Ohio, but it was cold. But my father wanted to live in a warmer climate. So we moved to Arizona, Tucson, Arizona, before we moved to Long Beach, California. Yes. But it was for my father's health.
Got it. How did your inclusion in the choir for Song of Love come about?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
How did your inclusion in the choir for Song of Love come about?
Well, I don't remember how it happened, but in Tucson, there was the Tucson Boys Choir. And I became a member of the Tucson Boys Choir. I don't remember how, but it was wonderful. I remember choir master was Eduardo Castro. I remember his name. And one Easter, we went to the Grand Canyon to sing for the Easter service, so singing for the choir in Tucson was wonderful. And when my family and I were making the move finally to Long Beach, Mr. Castro, the choir master in Tucson, knew about a boys' choir, a really phenomenal, really wonderful boys' choir at St. Luke's Episcopal Church in Long Beach. William Ripley Dorr was the choir master, and that, of course, the boys changed because their voices changed. But as sopranos, and I was a soprano, and I auditioned for the choir master in and Tucson knew about the choir in Long Beach and said, go there, go to the Episcopal Church and see if you can see Mr. Dorr and audition for that choir. And I did that. And I was accepted in the choir and sang with them every Sunday for almost 5 years. But that choir had a wonderful reputation. They had sung or appeared in many Hollywood musicals, and not necessarily musicals, but where there was a scene where there's a boy choir needed. And when I was there, the nice thing, the really nice thing that had happened, there was a movie at MGM called Song of Love with Katharine Hepburn, Paul Henry, and Robert Walker that needed a boys' choir. So we were all hired to go to MGM and be in this musical sequence. And I can sort of remember. I thought to myself, "My God, I'm at MGM." You know, it was just that thought was fantastic. And in the sequence we were part of, it was at the MGM theater. That was the big set. It was a concert sequence because Katharine Hepburn and Paul Henry played Clara and Robert Schumann. And so this sequence that we were part of was a concert sequence with a full orchestra on the sets and the boys' choir in the back with a set that kind of went sloped upwards, and that was what we were there for that concert sequence. So we appeared in it, and we also recorded it for it as well. And I remember the day we were shooting it. Because, you know, we were back at the top, and Paul Henry, who was playing Robert Schumann, was way down there because it was a big set. And as things were progressing, I remember Katharine Hepburn coming in from stage right, from the wings. She was supposed to do that. And because he was beginning to lose it, so to speak, and she comforts him and very graciously escorts him off the stage into the wings. But the thing I remember was her voice. I was way back up there, and that distinctive, beautiful voice. That's what I remember from it. Was her voice. And I remember too that from that experience, you know, MGM had a schoolhouse for its young performers, like Elizabeth Taylor and Mickey Rooney and different, you know. Elizabeth Taylor was about 15 at the time. And so we were invited to go to the Halloween party at the MGM school. Anyway, it was that kind of thing. I saw Frank Sinatra walking on the street, and I stood right next to Elizabeth Taylor while we listened to Mario Lanza record. It was kind of amazing, you know. And it was a very heady experience for someone at a very young age, taken by that world, that the experience of being really in a movie studio, and great one especially for musicals, MGM, was it's kind of turning point for me. I didn't know what to do about anything, but it kind of locked in.
The bug bit you.
Whatever my dreams were, you know. Yeah. That's great.
So the bug bites you. And as I recall, dance wasn't necessarily in your view yet, but it quickly came into view. Was it when you hopped on a bus to watch a dance class in LA proper at the American School of Dance? Is that right?
That's pretty correct. Yeah, I was going to Woodrow Wilson High School in Long Beach, and a girl, John Scanlon, who was a dancer, and so she was exceptional because she was. I kind of had a real crush on her, but she's the one who found out and told me about the American School of Dance. And she said Leslie Caron and Sid Charisse take class there. Well, that's all I had to hear. The next day, or almost the next day, I took the train from Long Beach to Hollywood to watch the professional class at the American School of Dance. There was nobody famous in class that day, but that didn't matter to me. I just knew that's what I wanted to do. And, when you're that young, nothing stands in your way. You just go with your dreams, I guess. But anyway, I got a job at the May Company downtown Los Angeles as an office boy in the advertising department to make some money. And I took class at the school every night, 2 classes every night after work. It was such an incredible time. And the timing was kind of interesting too, because some of the kids that I took class with at the American School of Dance were already working on Singing in the Rain. So I was hearing all this, their stories. We would go eat after class, and they would tell me what work was like, but because of being at the American school and then being with kids who were already working, I could sort of touch it. It's kind of like an open door or something, but it was.
You felt it was within reach.
Yeah, I don't know if I thought it was anything was in reach. I guess within reach. I guess that's what we always hoped for. But what it did was it opened the door for me to eventually become a chorus dancer in some of the musical. Everything was a step forward in a way. It was really a kind of a lucky time for me. Those years.
Were your parents on board with all this? Or were they supportive, or was there any pushback? I know sometimes parents want their kids to go into more traditional occupations that seem safer, or were they fully on board? How were your parents with all this?
My parents were so happy for me to be doing what I wanted to do. That's what they were. My parents, because I've heard the same kinds of stories from other kids. My parents never wanted me to do this. My parents were not that way. They wanted me to do what I wanted to do, and loved what I was doing as well, and very supportive. Yeah, very supportive.